If you're new to our channel, we'd love to have you join our little community. Just hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. We promise it will be worth your while.
"Will you be all right, Jack?" asked Tony as he dropped me off outside my house, the house that Wendy and I had made our home. "I'll be fine," I replied as I fumbled for my keys. "You get off home now." Tony waved as he drove off. I let myself into the house, wishing that Wendy would be there to welcome me. But I knew she wouldn't be, ever since the day she went to the hospice. It was her funeral today. It was a wonderful send-off. Our friends were very kind. Many were worried if I would be able to cope without her. I had taken early retirement to care for her as she bravely coped with her illness. She had been diagnosed with breast cancer, but despite a double mastectomy and chemotherapy, the cancer spread. I moped around the house for days. Most of my time had been taken up caring for her, spending the last weeks with her at the hospice and then getting on with the funeral arrangements. And I was now at a loss. I needed to start sorting out her personal belongings, but it was difficult to get going. It was bad enough having to notify the authorities of her death, but disposing of her dresses just seemed too final, gone forever. But despite my misgivings, it had to be done. And today was the day I was going to get on with it. I opened the top drawer. It was where Wendy kept her intimates, and took out and held up the first item by its straps. It was her favorite post-mastectomy bra, pink with an embossed lace pattern. I was imagining her wearing it when I became aware of a draft. It didn't last long and I didn't know where it came from, but I felt a shiver through my body. I checked the windows and the door, but they were closed. I thought I heard a whisper. If I hadn't known she was no longer with me, I could have sworn it was Wendy. On the spur of the moment, I had the urge to take off my shirt and try on her bra. I fumbled with the fasteners. There were 3 of them, and managed to get one hook into one eye. I put my arms through and positioned the straps on my shoulders and went over to the dressing table to sit down to look at myself in the mirror. I was wondering why I was doing this, and perplexed that I was enjoying wearing Wendy's bra. Looking in the mirror, I got a shock. Wendy was standing behind me. My first thought was, how could I explain to her why I was wearing her bra? Then I realized it must be guilt, and I was imagining it. I turned around, and she wasn't there. I turned back and put my hands behind my back to unhook the bra when I saw her again in the mirror, smiling. She showed no signs of having been ill. She was as beautiful as ever. "Don't be afraid, sweetie." It was her voice. "I wanted you to wear my bra. Don't take it off." "I don't understand," I stammered. "Is it really you, or am I imagining this?" "It is really me, but then I could also be a figment of your imagination," she chuckled. I got up to hug her. She didn't disappear this time, but my bare arms passed through her. "Sorry, my darling Jack, but our connection is not strong enough yet for us to touch each other." "Connection? I can be with you provided you are wearing an item of my clothing, an item such as the bra you are wearing." My spirits were lifted. "Does that mean if I wear one of your bras we can be together?" "Not just a bra, but I can only visit. I cannot stay with you, and only until my mission is completed." "Your mission?" "You cared for me, and I now want to make sure you are cared for now I've gone." "I missed you terribly, but I can look after myself." "I don't think so. You have been in despair without me. I will guide you to a new life, where you will meet a companion whom you can spend the rest of your life with. But of course you can choose not to after I have passed on." "Passed on?" "Yes. Once I am happy you will be cared for. I can rest easy and pass to the other side, until we meet again. But not too soon, I hope, as you still have much to enjoy on Earth." "So if I don't let you help me, you will not be able to pass on?" "Yes, I will be trapped here." "So what do you want to do first?" "We need to strengthen our connection. Can you explore dressing up in my clothes? Find those that suit you and that you like. The more completely dressed you are, the stronger the connection. But you have to be sincere. Dress like me. Just wearing my undies or a dress will not be enough. And remember, I like wearing matching lingerie." "Are you sure about this? What if somebody finds out?" "If you do as I say, nobody will find out. I need to go now. I'm finding it difficult to stay visible to you. One final thing, shave off your body hair, or better still, pop out to Boots and buy some hair remover. You look awful with that pink bra sitting on your hairy chest. With that, she was gone. I needed a stiff drink, even though it was the middle of the morning. I put my shirt back on and went downstairs, poured myself a single malt, and settled down in my favorite chair in the study. Did I just dream it? I can vividly remember everything. And Wendy looked and sounded so real. All the same mannerisms, not dreamlike at all. Just no corporal substance. What harm would it do if I did what she asked me to? If somebody rang the doorbell at an embarrassing moment, I could ignore them. I am in mourning, and they would leave me alone. I then remembered I was still wearing her bra, and it seemed so natural I hadn't noticed. I decided to at least take her advice and go and buy some hair remover. I would be back before lunch. Over lunch, I had decided to do it. If I dressed up in her clothes, and she didn't appear again, then there was no harm done other than my own embarrassment that I had fallen for a figment of my imagination. I went up to our bedroom, still our bedroom in my mind. Her clothes were still there, and that is where she had appeared this morning. I stripped off my clothes, including her bra, and applied the lotion. I must say it was very effective as I watched the hair fall off as I showered. I then had a very close shave, as she said I had to do it properly and with sincerity. I was rather taken aback with the soft feel of my body and my now androgynous appearance. I put back on the bra. This time I remembered something Wendy used to do. I fastened it in front of me and then twisted it the right way round. I got all the hooks connected to the right eyes this time. I had to do it twice as it was a little tight at first, and I adjusted the shoulder straps for a better fit. I delved into the drawer to find the matching knickers. I remember she had bought a set. I was there. They were full cut and fitted snugly. I hope having to dress properly doesn't extend to doing something about my manhood. Next, I thought I should wear her tights. I found a pair that had been washed. There were packets of fresh tights, but she having not worn them, there could be no or a weak connection. I wasn't very successful at first until I realized why she used to scrunch them up and put her toes in first, and then roll them up her legs or something like that. It was quite an effort, and I made several attempts to get them straight and to reach my waist. Maybe stockings would be easier. The feel and look of my shaved legs encased in nylon was delicious. She did say lingerie, and she usually wore a full slip. I found the pink one she had with a lace bodice and hem. It was easy to put on. Perhaps that is why it is called a slip. I was now wearing matching lingerie of hers. I looked at myself in the mirror. The slip made a difference, but not as much as I was expecting. Perhaps if I wear a dress, I will look more like a woman. I wasn't sure if it was necessary. Wearing her underwear may be enough, but I was curious. I looked through her wardrobe and eventually pulled out one of her summer dresses. It was white with a floral print, very short sleeves, and a full skirt. It was one of my favorites of hers. I stepped into the dress and pulled up the top part and put my arms through the sleeves. It was when I tried to zip it up that I found difficulty. It was a loose-fitting dress from what I remember. It was okay where my bosoms were supposed to be, but was tight across my waist and midriff. Pulling in my stomach and wiggling around, I eventually managed to get the zip up. But I think the ligaments in my arms are going to suffer for a while with the overstretching. I looked in the mirror and felt quite pleased with myself. Now to wait and see what Wendy thinks. I spent the rest of the day wearing her clothes, until eventually I had to get undressed to go to bed. I was disappointed Wendy had not appeared again, but I have to say I did enjoy myself. In the morning, I was lying awake thinking about if I had done anything wrong. Why hadn't she appeared? I didn't remember everything Wendy said. It was too much to take it all in, but I decided to have another go. I had some ideas for improvement. I got up, washed and shaved, closely again, and put on the now familiar pink lingerie. I found the tights easier. I decided to wear a blouse and skirt this time. I thought it would be more straightforward than zipping up the dress. I looked for and found the white sleeveless loose-fit blouse I liked to see her wear. It had a V-neck, not too deep, with a long loose bow. I put it on with ease, buttoning it up correctly and tying the bow. I then took out a loose black skirt and held it in front of me. It reached down below my knees. I stepped into it and pulled it up. It had an elasticated waist, so it fitted nicely. This time I didn't stop there. I thought I would try Wendy's breast forms, the ones she bought last year. The bra had special pockets to hold them. I undid the blouse and inserted each form into the bra cups. I settled the bra and forms so that they looked right and felt comfortable. I could feel the weight and the pull on the bra straps. Looking in the mirror, I felt sad that Wendy had to wear them, but they made all the difference in my appearance, and I liked the feel and movement. I lifted one of Wendy's human hair wigs from its dummy head. She had two, both with shoulder-length straw blonde hair, one with a simple bob style, and the other a bit more dressy with the hair up. I put on the bob style one and brushed it until I looked presentable. Finally, shoes. I wasn't sure if we had similar size feet. Alas, we didn't. Not unexpectedly. But I did find some flat sandals with sufficient adjustment. Uncomfortable, but it would have to do. I was ready for her, and this time, she appeared. "Hello, Jack, or should I call you Jackie?" "Not Jackie, please. You have to have a girl's name." "Okay, how about Victoria?" As I said it, it seemed right. I think I would like to be called Victoria when like this. "Oh, Victoria, that's lovely. You've taken my middle name. I am wearing your clothes, so why not? But please not Vicky." "I promise, Victoria." She gave me a disarming smile. "I'm impressed with your efforts since yesterday and taking the initiative to wear my breast forms and wig. The style and color suit you, by the way, which has strengthened our connection." She stepped forward and gave me a quick peck on the lips. It felt electric, astounding. "See what I mean?" I felt that. "You have done so well that I can materialize this time, but not another kiss, I'm afraid. Any more physical effort would sever the connection. Now sit down. We're going to make you pretty. I'm going to tell you what to do. Take note and practice while I'm away. Experiment and go line for tutorials and hints. Are all my cosmetics as I left them?" I nodded. I was without words. I couldn't believe what was happening. We spent a long time on my face, hair, and nails, and the result was stunning, although somewhat amateurish as I wasn't used to applying makeup. I looked remarkably like a woman. I was confident with practice and guidance I could pass if I went out, not as if that was going to happen. Presumably, looking more realistic will strengthen the connection. I do hope so. I do miss her. "I would like to spend more time with you to try on jewelry, for example, but my time's running out and I'm exhausted, but you can do that on your own. It will be a little while before I see you again, so you will need to carry on without me. You need to improve your shape. You need a corset to pull in your waist and some hip pads if you want to look better and for my clothes to fit. My shoes are too small for you, as I know you found out. Buy a pair of high heels and practice walking. Aim for 3 inches. They will show off your ankles and calves. Go through my wardrobe and practice, practice, practice. I love you, Victoria." Then she was gone. Did she just call me Victoria and not Jack? I set about following Wendy's advice. They seemed like instructions with unexpected keenness, probably because after she had passed away, I had plenty of time on my hands and no real enthusiasm for anything else. I found plenty of help and guidance on the internet, and some not so helpful or misleading. I discovered specialist cross-dressing suppliers. I wasn't a cross-dresser as such. I had never shown any interest in cross-dressing before, but I realized that is what I needed to be for Wendy and her mission. As well as the hip pads, I bought a corset, then a second one, as I liked the idea of a black one as well as white. I could fasten the white one at my crotch, so I could wear Wendy's trousers and not show a bulge. The black one had detachable suspenders, so I bought a number of pairs of stockings. My appearance improved immensely. I now had womanly curves, and nearly all her clothes fitted me well. I discovered that Marks & Spencer sold women's shoes in what I judged to be my size based on Wendy's shoes. The great thing was that I could select what I wanted from the shelf, and the staff at the pay desk treated me as if I was just buying, say, men's underpants. Men buying women's clothes from them must be a fairly frequent occurrence. After my first trial pair, which had 2-inch block heels, I went back for 3-inch stilettos. I dressed nearly every day, working my way through my late wife's wardrobe. I practiced applying makeup and trying different techniques I found on the internet. I became a regular shopper in Boots, replenishing Wendy's stocks and trying new colors and products. After about a month since Wendy's last visit, or should that be visitation, I was all dolled up in her sparkling red cocktail dress. The dress hugged my enhanced curves and was knee-length, showing off my legs. I particularly liked the spaghetti straps. I was even showing a small amount of cleavage, having accidentally found out how to create one while browsing a cross-dressing website. It was one of my favorite dresses, and I was wearing a new pair of gold strappy sandals with narrow 4-inch heels, when I heard a familiar voice. "Victoria, you look stunning, and that dress suits you so well, and those shoes are to die for. Pity I'm dead. I'm so glad you did what I asked." I blushed. "Thank you, Wendy," I said as I gave her a twirl. "And you move so gracefully. You're ready for the next stage." "Next stage?" "Yes, you need to live as a woman full-time from now on. You have everything you need. You can wear my night dresses. Pack away all your old clothes in the loft and practice behaving and talking like a woman. What if I need to be myself? You are. You are now Victoria, but in the unlikely event you need to be Jack, then your clothes will be there. I want you to go out and about as a woman, doing the weekly shop in Sainsbury's, for example, or having a coffee in Costa. And if I get caught? You won't, but I'll keep an eye on you, your guardian angel. Use my bank and store cards. I know you haven't canceled them, and you know the PIN. You can be me, so nobody would be suspicious." I could do that. Actually, I was excited. I had been thinking about going out as a woman. All I needed was this push from her. I nearly forgot. Get your ears pierced so you can wear my earrings. There is a lovely pair that I used to wear with that dress. Bye, darling. She was gone. I lived the next few months as a woman, feeling confident enough to visit a nail bar and finally a hairdresser. My hair was long enough to do something with it. The hairdresser recommended extensions. I had my hair colored ash blonde, the same as Wendy. I had been trimming my brows, but I decided to have them properly done. It was well worth it. My newly shaped and trimmed brows really made me look more feminine. I looked remarkably like the ID photographs of Wendy, so I became her, my own wife. I had her engagement and wedding rings enlarged so I could proudly wear them. I was relaxing, watching one of Wendy's favorite movies streaming on all 4. Back in the day, I didn't know what she saw in it. I do now, and I was so absorbed I didn't notice her standing there, smiling at me. "Victoria, listen carefully. I want you to wear one of your smarter outfits. Choose good quality shoes and a bag and visit Costa in town. Just order your coffee and go sit quietly on your own. Got it?" "Yes, dear." "Look your best. I will need a good connection when it's time." I was alone again. I was up early. Today could be the day, and I was excited with anticipation, but of what? I had a bath with my favorite bath salts and checked that my skin was smooth and gave myself a close shave. I carefully applied my makeup to feminize my face and highlight my best features. I checked my nails. I only recently visited the nail bar, and my longer-shaped oval nails were perfect. I brushed my shoulder-length hair into a perfect bob. I had chosen my favorite lingerie set, you know, the pink lace, which was also Wendy's favorite. I put on the knickers, followed by the black corset and hip pads. I took out a pair of sheer black stockings and rolled each one up my legs and attached them to the suspenders. "Girl, you do have great legs," I said out loud as I checked the mirror. I created a cleavage with tape before putting on the bra and inserting and adjusting my breast forms. I placed the slip over my head, letting it fall and then smoothing it into place. I had chosen a tailored royal blue suit with a dress and jacket. It was one Wendy often wore to important business meetings, and I thought it wouldn't look out of place in a coffee shop during the day. I could be on my way to such a meeting. It was a plain body-form sleeveless dress with a hemline just below my knees and a narrow V-neck, showing my faux cleavage. I loved the way it fitted and hugged my body. I had been dieting and exercising, and it showed. The short lapel-less jacket had a nipped-in waist, 3/4-length sleeves, and an open front. I put on Wendy's slender gold watch and a matching bracelet on my other wrist, inserted small, sparkling Swarovski studs into my pierced ears, and placed a gold locket with a thin chain around my neck. Elegant and understated, I thought. The locket was Wendy's, of course, and had a picture inside of Jack. In my mind, Jack wasn't me anymore. I was her. I slipped onto my feet a pair of black patent leather court shoes with slender 3-inch heels and a narrow toe. I was tempted to wear 4-inch heels at first. I put a wallet with the cards and Wendy's name into a handbag matching the shoes, along with my phone. It used to be Wendy's, but I use it now as her, my makeup kit, and other essentials and non-essentials alike, followed by my favorite scent after a quick spray, of course. I picked up my bag and placed it over the crook of my arm, checked the mirror, perfect, grabbed my keys, and I was ready. Ready for what? I arrived a few minutes later than normal. I queued at the counter, and then it was my turn. Good morning, Victoria. You've become quite the regular. How are you this morning? I'm feeling wonderful. I hope today will be the day. Can I have my usual, please? I always order Wendy's. Favorite drink, not for her but for me, and went and sat at an empty table. After a while, I noticed a man, also smartly dressed and about the same age as Wendy and I, looking at me. As we made eye contact, he picked up his coffee and came towards me. Hey, he said. May I join you? Say yes, whispered Wendy as I felt her hand on my stockinged knee. Yes, I said, querying her. But he, not seeing her, assumed I was being affirmative and sat down opposite me. Thank you, the stranger said. My name's Henry. Can I get you another coffee? Yes, please, I heard myself saying in my much-practiced voice. A flat white, thank you. Back in a tick. Don't go away. He rose and headed to the counter. I turned to look at Wendy. Hello, darling. Don't look at me. Remember, I'm not here. She was silent for a moment. It is time. Henry's the one. I can't do this. He's a man, I whispered to Wendy. Yes, you can. Henry was still at the counter. I was shaking. Don't be nervous, dear. You look wonderful, and I am so proud of how feminine and graceful you are. You're a natural. Henry returned and placed my coffee in front of me. Thank you, Henry, I said. You're welcome. He hesitated and then out of the blue said, You are very good, you know. My heart dropped into my stomach. I don't know what you mean. My voice cracked slightly. I lost my partner earlier this year. I call her my wife, but Jill was a biological man who lived full-time as a woman. So I'm an expert, and I detected telltales that you too are a man. But don't be alarmed. You are one of the most convincing cross-dressers I've met, and I would like to get to know you better. I felt Wendy squeezing my knee. She obviously approves. I should tell you I'm not gay. These are my wife's clothes. I'm not looking for a partner. I'm just lonely. I don't want another relationship, just companionship. Straight men are put off when I tell them I'm gay, and anyway, I prefer feminine company. Women I have met are looking for a relationship, so I have been keeping an eye out for an attractive crossdresser who would appreciate male company but is otherwise straight. Wow, I think I'm the one he is seeking. I have been lonely since Wendy died, and I have come to enjoy this new lifestyle of mine, especially given her encouragement. So why not? I might as well be honest. My wife also died earlier this year. We were happily married and I miss her very much. I find solace in dressing up in her clothes. It was unexpected, but it has helped me stay connected to her. Then we have something in common except the dressing up bit. Tell you what, would you like to join me for lunch? My heart unexpectedly leapt. I don't think it was because he is a handsome man, but more that I was being treated as a woman. I've just sort of been asked out on a date. I felt Wendy squeezing me again. She obviously approves. I would like that, thank you. We can go to the Ivy. They have just opened a new restaurant in town. You are dressed for it. We can pretend we are having a business lunch. Even if we do not meet again, I will enjoy the experience and your company. Henry rose and offered me his hand. I picked up my bag, and as I did, I saw a happy, smiling Wendy. Just before leaving the coffee shop, I turned back, and she gave me an encouraging wave. It was months later. I was holding Wendy's wedding dress in front of me and looking at myself in the mirror when I heard a familiar voice. Dreaming, Victoria? It was Wendy. Not even with your tightest corset, sweetie. It doesn't even fit me anymore. Hello, darling. I wondered if I would ever see you again. I'm just reminiscing about the happiest day of my life. We were fresh from university and the start of our wonderful time together. You say all the right things. That's why I love you and have stayed around to help you. I see you have well and truly come to live as me. You are wearing one of my old sweatshirts and jeans, and your hair is in a ponytail. This is how I dress when I'm doing housework. It has to be loose clothing as I'm not wearing a corset with all the bending. Of course, you can't look like a glamorous housewife all the time. You still have breasts, I see. They are sort of part of me now. I can't imagine not having them or not wearing one of your bras. I only take them off to bathe and to sleep. So, what are you doing? I was packing up when I came across the wedding dress. I know I can't wear it, but I'm going to keep it just as you did. So, packing up because you are no longer going to live as a woman or because you are moving? I think you know the answer to that. You must have been watching over me. You are right, sweetie, and I'm so excited for you. I'm excited too. Moving to a new place, a new home. Why did you decide to move? This was our marital home. We were happy here. With my reduced pension due to early retirement, I can't really afford to live here. Oh, I am so sorry, and I understand. You made a great sacrifice to look after me. And that is why I've been on this mission to make sure you will be cared for in older age. The important thing is that it is not the building. It's the things around us that carry the memories, like this dress. You will always be with me in the new place. I'm pleased you cherish the memory of our life together. I assume you are taking my other clothes with you. Of course, they are my connection with you, every day. Although I have taken your shoes to the charity shop. Better than just storing them. I agree. What about your old clothes? All packed away ready to join your shoes. So what does Henry think? He is very excited, the poor dear. We spend so much time together and many of our friends now think of us as a couple. We thought it would be more practical if we shared a home. So we have both sold up and bought a new place that better suits our needs. We will have our own bedroom suites. Mine has a walk-in wardrobe. We can entertain our friends. And there is a nice garden I can potter around in. How thrilling. How is your personal relationship with Henry? We are very close friends now. We enjoy each other's company and want to see out our lives together. You were right. You realized I needed a companion, and Henry is a good choice. I would not have wanted to take up with another woman. You will always be the only one in my heart. And anyway, what woman would have liked playing second fiddle to a departed wife? Living with a man as a man was never something I considered. We would have had to have been good mates for many years. Living with a man as a woman, a full-time crossdresser, is nigh on perfect, other than living with you, obviously. Do you love each other? Oh no, our relationship is purely platonic. Our love is like a brother and sister. He treats me like a lady, always courteous and protective. I am so lucky. You being straight and Henry being gay is a special aspect of your successful relationship. However, you have my blessing if you want to take it further and become lovers, or if you are curious. I would admit I would be a little bit jealous if you do as it would be Henry and not me sharing your bed. But I would be happy for you if it completes your new life. As what she was saying sunk in, I felt my heart flutter. She really must love me to let Henry take her place. I still had the wedding dress. I held it against my body and looked again at myself in the mirror, and then put it carefully back in the box where she had placed it all those years ago. I also wondered why you wanted to meet in Costa at that time. Was it fate that I met Henry? Maybe it was fate. He often visited Costa for a morning coffee. Not long after I died, I met Jill, his partner. Henry had just lost her like you had lost me. She told me about Henry and how she was also worried about him. She told me he was an honorable and caring man, and I realized that if you were a full-time crossdresser, he could be a good companion to you too. So it was set up. I love you very much as Jill loves Henry, but of course it could have been a chance encounter. You could have met anyone at any time without my help. What about Henry? Did Jill guide him? No, she didn't. Their bond was not as strong as ours, and they never connected. Besides, Henry gave away Jill's clothes. So Henry would know nothing of how we met. No, as far as he was concerned, He saw you sitting alone, that you were a crossdresser of similar age, and took the initiative. I often wondered, having discovered I like wearing your clothes and being taken as a woman, if I was actually bisexual, but I had no such leaning. Why did you encourage me to dress in your clothes? During my last days, I recognized that you had a feminine side. You were so caring. You reminded me of my mother. And you had always shown an interest in the clothes I wore, often coming shopping with me. I knew I would be leaving you, and I was worried there would be no one there to care for you. When I passed away, I found out I could connect to you if you wore my clothes, but you had to try on something of mine first. It wasn't easy, but I nudged you into wearing my pink bra and you know the rest. It was easier than I expected because it became clear that deep inside you was a hidden desire to wear women's clothes, to be a crossdresser, and once you had experienced the joy and exhilaration of presenting as a woman, you then yearned to share the experience and be treated as a woman to live my life. I never had such feelings until you manifested and led me down that path. That was because your happiness and love for me kept them suppressed. I would prefer it if you were still alive, obviously. But I do enjoy this new me, this new life, being you. I've never been so happy since we were together. I'm so glad. That is all I wanted, and my clothes will be a constant reminder for you. She laughed. I've now come to accept that this new life is what I truly wanted. I don't think I would have had the courage to do it without your support and approval. Wendy came towards me. She came closer, hugged me tightly, and kissed me. Somehow, I knew that would be the last kiss we would ever have, and that it would last me forever, or until I meet her again. I'm sorry I could not kiss or hold you earlier, but to do so now has taken it all out of me. It is time for me to pass on. Enjoy your life with Henry. I love you, Jack. With that, she disappeared. I knew I would never see her again, and I sat down and cried my heart out with sadness and with joy.